Ram is having a lot of problems, and this is not kind of like your average automaker, uncertain that many automakers are currently having difficulties. But Ram's situation is awful and feels different. That some high-ranking executives are saying, I'm leaving on my own volition. You recognize that Ram is not a standalone business. Among the components of Stellantis, the largest automobile manufacturers in the US, and it's not exactly CR rushing, Stellantis at the moment sails on all boards. When you're not moving and slumping, cars off the lot, it's just a question of time before big heads start rolling. Decisions begin to tremble the corporate ladder. Ram has now made an announcement that has stunned the entire car landscape and is creating anxiety. So what precisely did Ram just declare? How does this affect the company's decision to join? Let's discuss Ram's recent announcement and first examine how the business got into this predicament. Stellantis is a major global automaker that owns well-known brands like Dodge and Jeep. Ram and Chrysler were once very important participant in the automotive industry, but now Ram has been afforded the same freedom that cars and trucks have suffered. It appears that this giant is stuck in reverse, and things don't appear to be going well. Stellantis isn't merely going through a difficult patch, it's in a serious crisis. For instance, do you recall when Jeep was the company that catered to adventure seekers? Jeep's sales have drastically decreased. 44% of Dodge has had it since 2018. Even worse, it has plummeted 67% from its 2013 peak. Chrysler isn't doing considerably better after being a sign of hope and promise. The pride of American automobiles, having trouble staying relevant, so what exactly is happening, to be honest? Stellantis isn't just going through a difficult time, it's essentially destroying itself in some of the ways that devoted clients are walking away. Chrysler isn't doing considerably better after being the default automaker in almost every country. Let's start by dissecting Ram's price issue. Over the last few years, Ram has acquired a surprising talent. Making trucks is so costly that it's practically unsellable, as if they are charging them to sit in dealership lots. And this was taking place whereas Ford and GM, their rivals, were making every effort to win them over. Purchasers for Ford and GM for the majority of the year have been cutting costs and providing discounts and cashback promotions. The price has been out of control. Ford dealers could be visited by war buyers and walk across to a GM dealer and engage in a game of who can provide me with the better offer. It was a simply put customer's market, but Stellantis simply sat on the watching from the sidelines as everything unfolded. No incentives, no discounts, and nothing to attract customers, as if they made the decision to choose not to participate in the competition together, as well as when you're not playing the guess what, you lose market share in this game. And they lost a few months ago, boy. The business declared that global car shipments fell precipitously. A staggering 20% decline from the previous year, if that sounds like it, during the third quarter. Unfortunately, when you zoom in, it gets worse. Shipments from North America there fell off 36%, and it wasn't some crazy. Dealerships were already crammed with stock. This is where things start to get interesting. In fact, the shipment drop was steeper than Stellantis reported, a drop in sales, an underlying sales decline of 15% for the same quarter, which continues to be a huge success, but not as severe as the delivery freeall. The main reason for the discrepancy? To two things: a product that changes portfolio and dealers being astute about essentially controlling their stock levels. End quote. Stellantis has been making adjustments to what's on offer, most likely refocusing attention on models they believe will yield greater profits, or in demand simultaneously in the future. Dealerships are being cautious in order to overloading vehicles they don't know. They are able to offer zooming out to the world market. Stellantis struggles on stage weren't just. A tale of shipments from North America as well declined in the Middle East, Europe, and Africa, China, India, and Asia-Pacific areas, which is a significant amount of covered ground, and it indicates difficulties that extend beyond the local market. Another important factor is their global reach. Specifically, Stellantis and Ram are in the idle position. The reason for this mess is that their cars simply lack the spark they once possessed. You are familiar with the sensation when something hasn't really aged, but it was cool once? That's what's going on here. Though Stellantis appears to be trapped in a time warp, depending on antiquated models that simply don't cut it anymore. But customers talk about the name recognition technology as a true last-ditch effort to cut it anymore. Enter a dealership, and it's difficult not to observe the line of unsold vehicles just sitting there and gathering dust. As artifacts in museums, almost seem to have put innovation on hold, while everyone, if not fast forward and look around, customers of other automakers are stunning. With sleek designs for electric vehicles, designs and advanced technology in the meantime, Stellantis is holding on to what was effective yesterday rather than determining what possibly useful tomorrow. Another conjecture reason for the decline in Ram trucks is that many of their sales, conventional purchasers are having trouble renting. You are familiar with the legendary Hemi V8. Count yourself another V8. Hemi has represented unadulterated strength and muscle for many years. Then moving to the Hurricane's new twin-turbine engine just hasn't struck the same chord with many devoted fans. Let's take a moment to consider this. Ford's decision to move to their EcoBoost V6 did not require customers to bid farewell to their cherished V8s. They retained the Coyote 5.0 V8 as a model. In addition to the EcoBoost, it was somewhat as if to say, hey, take the new technology if you desire it, but if you're a fan of the quote-unquote smart route, covered Smart Right, which provided people with Ram's options, however, they chose to phase in a different route. Why not remove the Hemi V8 entirely? Most likely, a combination of factors. Increasing fuel efficiency while adhering to more stringent California and EPA emission regulations, and perhaps even streamlining manufacturing on paper. Their factories make sense, yes, but none of that convinces buyers. Any more pleased that the Hemi V8 wasn't merely an exhibition, it was a memorable moment when a Ram Hemi rolled past you at 1500, didn't you? You heard those twins? Just look at it. Back exhaust pipes, and that distinct rumble of the motor that was a declaration it conveyed to everyone nearby. Yes, this truck is very important to business. Of purchasers, that sound wasn't merely background noise. It was a characteristic of being the owner of a truck. The new Hurricane engine is a Ram truck, is remarkable. It has superior power, tremendously greater steam, power, energy, and significant remark. It has superior power, efficiency in certain situations, and it's an excellent engineering work. But here's why. There's something eerily quiet, rather than drawing attention with a signature growl, more akin to a murmur. And for a lot of devoted Ram supporters, that quietness seems to be lacking something. Even though the performance metrics indicate, alternatively, Ram's choice to forgo the Hemi was most likely the best choice for the improved fuel efficiency in the future, reduced emission, and so forth. But the thing that's changing is difficult, particularly when letting go is required. Of an item as recognizable as the Hemi V8, not only is performance important, but regarding people's emotional ties possess their trucks. Perhaps the lesson Ford, this is about finding balance, was able to update while maintaining their Ram. It worked and the classic options were alive. But they placed all of their money on the Hurricane. Even though it's a fantastic engine, die's gonna require some time. Ardent admirers, to get used to it before the Ram 1500 situation. Stellantis is one example, recognizes that some of these trucks are moving off the production line with problems, but rather than slowing down and addressing the underlying issues, they're continuing as usual, of course. They're making amends prior to the dealerships are hit by trucks, but that's like applying a Band-Aid solution to a more serious issue. The delays and the cost of these fixes are currently giving everyone headaches. You would think that each truck that requires more care before it can be sold is reducing profits. It's as if attempting to stop a boat from leaking. The greater the amount they spend on repairs, the greater their manufacturing costs have skyrocketed, which is, they could be investing time and money toward improving automobiles or promoting into the EV market, where the action is most intense. Stellantis isn't merely in competition with Tesla, will compete with either Ford or Chevy. Rivian and the entire generation of EV newcomers that are taking the buyer's attention. These days, people want cars that look good, brimming with clever features, and the majority of crucial features that Rivian looks continually feel as though they are a part of the future. Continuing to use antiquated, disregarding EV trends and designs is similar to comparing a smartphone to a flip phone party. Nobody will be impressed. If Ram and Stellantis wish to turn divas, they must stop playing with the surrounding objects, catch up and take the initiative. That entails reconsidering their whole strategy for funding innovation, increasing the number of electric options, and perhaps even adding a new touch to their design's contemporary vibe, since they're losing ground. Not just ground, relevance recently. But it appears that Ram has made the decision to dive straight into the price war between GM, Ford, and Tesla, have been engaged in combat for some time, and it's about time, let's face it. You can currently purchase a 2025 Ram 1500, armed with the new, shiny Hurricane engine. A straight-six twin-turbo powerhouse offers a stunning discount. of more than $116,000 off the original cost, indicating that it's available for about, yes, $43,000, is just slightly more than $40,000. For a 4C4 pickup truck crew cab with a 420 horsepower roaring beneath the hood, it sounds very alluring, doesn't it? That is, almost begging to be hauled. Snowy roads are dominated by your weekend toys, or simply look fantastic while seated in your driveway. Despite these slashes, Ram is still having trouble raising prices.